So here we are at a boutique running shoe store. So what does that mean? It means that it is catering to a specific sophisticated buyer. That's what I want you to become, is sophisticated. I don't want you to be like the great unwashed masses who are slaves to fashion. You're going to be understanding exactly which category you fall into, and you're buying shoes for performance, protection, and function. It makes you sophisticated. So let's take a look at the first categories you're going to choose. First of all, you want to take a look at this and say, am I male or female? And you want to buy a shoe specific for your gender. Number two, consider your body mass. I'm a small guy. I'm light compared to Shaq O'Neal. He's going to buy a different kind of running shoe than I would to accommodate his mass. So consider that. Then what I've done is I've broken it down into 5 categories. Now, I know that there are many more categories of shoes, but for the purpose of this video, and to clear up the confusion and to give you a concise, reliable method for understanding what it is you want to find in your shoe, here's what we're going to do. We're going to break it down according to if you're looking for a running shoe, a trail running shoe, a gym shoe, a sports-specific shoe, and then finally, yes, that all-important casual shoe. Okay, so now what happens when you come to a place like this, you're going to see all these different types of shoes, and it can be confusing. But you are a sophisticated buyer. So let's just say that I'm a woman, and I'm a light girl, and I'm going to be running a 5K. Oh yeah, I also know which category I'm going to fall into specific to my foot type. Am I a neutral foot? Am I a overpronator, a severe overpronator, or a supinator, or underpronator? So what happens is when I come here to a place like this, those guys that work here are trained specifically to put you in a shoe that fits your category. They're going to give you multiple types of shoes. Wear at least 5. Let's take, for example, that I'm a overpronating female and I'm going to run a 5K. What I'm going to look for is a shoe as they come down becomes more supportive, more motion control like this one. And I want you to manipulate the shoe. What does that midfoot torsion feel like? Well, this one's rigid because of this cross member in here. Great design for someone who wants less motion. It also has a triple density midsole. Now what this does is it attenuates shock more and it controls overpronation if you happen to have that at the mid stance in your gait cycle. That's when your foot comes in contact with the ground. It's normal to pronate, we've discussed that, but if you pronate too much and it's causing you pain, this might be helpful for you. Now, if you're just looking for something that's high mileage and you need a lighter shoe, then you're going to come up and get something that's got cushioning. This is significantly lighter. It's got less motion control in it. It's more flexible. And so what happens is, if you have a strong integrative foot, this is a good shoe if you are a neutral runner, not someone who has too much motion in your normal gait process. Now, these are running shoes for the street. They're designed to protect you. They're designed to increase your performance and feel good at the end of a run. What if you're running on something like a trail? Well, we come over here and take a look at these. We're going to compare this shoe to the one we were just looking at. This shoe has what we call a higher heel drop. That's the ratio of the heel height to the toe height. This is a lower heel drop. And also, it's much more rigid. And the sole of it's designed to take rocks and stones. And your upper, this portion here, is designed to keep your foot more planted, which is significant when you're trail running. So when you are coming in here to these places, I want you to come and make sure, ask them to fit you, because your foot changes. Every year you need to be measured, and you'll get a gender-specific Braddock device, which is going to measure your length and your width, and it's going to tell you if one foot happens to be a little longer than the other one, which is important. Now, when you get this information, don't forget to consider the volume of your foot too. What does that mean? Let's take a look. Come over here and let's look at one of these shoes. Now, certain shoes have a higher degree of volume compared to a lower volume shoe. Now what that means is when you're asking them to fit you, they're going to consider your length, your width, and your volume, and that's going to help you pick those shoes. Now once you've got all this down, what next? Well, you put the shoe on, You narrow it down to 5. You wear the shoe and you jump in it. You run in it. You walk in it for a long period of time, and do this at the end of the day, and do it when you've got the socks that you're going to wear for that particular activity, because all those factors will determine how this shoe feels when you go out there and pound the pavement or hit the trails. So this is very significant for you to consider when you come here. Do all those things first, and that way you're going to get the best result and you're going to be happy. Now, when I'm asking you to feel for comfort, I want you to take a look at, let's find something here specific to this shoe. When I put my foot in here, does it bind here at the 5th toe? Does it bind here at the 1st toe? You know that knuckle where a lot of people get bunions? If you have a very small toe box, this is a toe box at this point, and it's narrow, it can cause problems because now you're increasing forces with running. You want to have a lot of room here. What is a lot of room? Well, it needs to be your thumb. Don't use a salesman thumb, use your thumb, because this is your foot and you have that specific room that's going to be needed in a running shoe because you're running linearly, so your foot is going to swell and it's going to move some as you run in a straight line. You want that accommodation in a running shoe. When you go to a sport-specific shoe, it's a totally different situation. So let's go to that now.